Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rock and Roll Brunch podcast. Last week, Chris said he found my hosting voice grating, so I'm going to make it 10 times worse.
Whoa.
I like it.
On today's show,
I've always liked it.
can Twitch change the economics of artists? And also the new one from We Were Skarks. All that plus much more. All on today's show.
Ugh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, like I said, to the Rock and Roll Brunch podcast. I am your host, Josh Marcanti. With me, as always, my two super cool dudes, co-host, Mr. Chris Marcanti. Chris, how's it going, buddy?
Good. Did you get the episode number right? Do you know what episode number?
We're on episode number 14
Hey.
today. Today's
Hey.
episode
I don't think
number
he
14.
even said it at the beginning.
I don't think I
Which
did.
is probably safer. It's probably
It's
safer.
way
that you
safer.
did.
It's way
Yeah.
safer.
Yeah, just pull it out all together.
The other guy you heard with me today is also Mr. Dane Train Urbach. Dane, good morning, buddy.
Hi.
How are you?
Daniel.
I'm getting used to having a microphone like right next to my
You
face
look
here.
good. You sound good.
Thanks. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. I'm sure. I'm kind of sharing my screen with. It's like sharing my screen with another character. But I mean, I guess if you're listening to this instead of watching it, you don't really know what the hell I'm talking about. So
You look like someone's uncomfortably close to you at a show or something where you're like,
I feel that way.
We
I
played
feel a little like, should I say something?
Chris, do you remember what was the? Well,
say something. Excuse me, sir.
Chris, what was the name of that guy who kept offering us beer at the show last weekend? Who was running sound?
Gene?
Gene.
Gene
Last weekend-
Cedar?
Last weekend we were playing a show, and we finished the show, and the guy who was running sound, he was not the sound guy. He just happened to be a guy running sound. He reminded me of your microphone, Dane, because he was literally like, I was talking to my like dad, and he's like in my face. He's like, "You guys want a beer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all right."
Hey,
calm
Gene.
down."
Listen,
Gene,
Gene Cedar?
you just needed to back off a bit, bud.
Gene,
It's literally like, hey, Jesus Christ, Gene.
Gene. Yep. Well, welcome to the show, boys. Chris, tell me, buddy, what you been jamming lately? Anything good?
The thing I've been jamming the most is the new Bronx record that came out last week, which I don't want to talk about a lot because I think that we should review it.
Cool.
I'm very excited to talk about it, but
Cool.
yeah, that's the
Nice.
thing that came up right now. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. High overview. Are you enjoying it?
I don't want to talk about it because
All
I
right.
want to talk about.
You went
God
to.
damn.
He wasn't listening.
But I mean,
God
I
damn.
just you can say that
That's what I'm
you're
talking about.
enjoying
You're the worst
something. You can
host.
say that you're enjoying something or not. That's not going to break any rules. All right. You went to Jason Isbell
Yep.
since the last show.
That is true.
How was that?
Good.
Yeah. Good. You're a big Jason Isbell fan, so that's why
I am.
getting your
Thanks
hot
to Jim Hankey, as it were. But yeah, Brittany Spencer, somebody
right.
opened for him, was really, really good. But it was at the Schaumburg Flyer Stadium,
Ooh.
which I was thinking was going to be a big place, and it turns out to be like the size of a high school baseball stadium.
I mean, it's a little bigger than that, but it's
Slightly.
But it feels pretty. I mean, that kind of feels like a smaller venue then, and a little.
100
Yeah, that's cool.
It was a great place to see a show. Like you see a show at Wrigley Field, like the stage is like all the way whatever, but this was like kind of right up in front, and it was really good. It was really, really good, and it was like 75 degrees outside. It was like a gorgeous, gorgeous night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Dane, what you been jamming lately?
Pretty much just the new Quicksand record, which is
Quicksand.
amazing and just grimy and stuff. I think I got into a lot of Walter Schreifels' bands late, so I can't talk about Gorilla Biscuits or anything like that. But like, I don't know if you guys are into Quicksand or Rival Schools or
Rival Schools. Yeah.
Yeah, all of those bands to me, like, just because of his voice and like his style and stuff, they just do a lot for me. So, yeah, I really like the new Quicksand record. It's very good, and I've been dabbling in Deaf Heaven too. So
I'm gonna add it, but I'm not sure I like albums reviewed as grimy.
no. I think you're gonna like this one better. I don't.
You don't like the review grimy? Like, is that that's a turn off for you?
Grimy?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind
Think of a good grunge band, and I feel like Quicksand does it in a more like punk or post-hardcore kind of way.
I'll listen to it.
I mean, I guess that's what I mean. It's not polished, because super polished, as you'll learn later, is not my favorite production style.
Oh, here we go.
Yikes.
That's a bit of a hint.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Spoiling too much.
That's
what do
okay.
they call it? Not a cliffhanger? No.
It's just a teaser there.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing?
Just a little
Some foreshadowing.
perhaps.
It's a literary tool, Chris. I mean, Dane might be able to
Don't try to do
elaborate.
this.
Don't do this. Don't you
Don't
do
do
this to
this.
me,
It's
son of a
Sunday.
Don't
bitch.
you do this, you son
It's the weekend.
Don't you do it.
Josh, what have you been listening to?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I'm definitely gonna check that out. You know, these sections we talk about are no bullshit, because I always go back and as I'm listening to the show, I'm like, oh yeah, they did recommend that. Speaking of which, last week Jim recommended Rustin Kelly, which I had never heard before. I had never, was not on my radar at all. And I've been listening to Dying Star, that record by Rustin Kelly, and it actually is very much up my alley. It's like that alt kind of country kind of, he called it dirt punk, but I think that was like he had a cover record, but it's good. I definitely am enjoying it. And then there was another one that I wanted to talk about.
You don't have to keep going.
Settle Your Scores just put out a new record, like literally last week, I think it was, and been jamming that a lot lately too. So I would recommend that as well. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the meat of the show, boys.
Boys.
Hey, boys, what do you say? What do you say?
No.
I have so many voices. You know what I mean? You just let me know when you need a character.
Are you D from It's Always?
In my brain, I was like, this one brought to us once again by the good folks at rollingstone.com. The question is, can Twitch change the economics for artists? So they were kind of talking about, within the past year of COVID and new forms of revenue for artists. The senior vice president of music over at Twitch believes that there's a big future, not just in gaming, but also in music on the Twitch platform. I'll take a pull quote here. He said, if you look at the addressable opportunity in terms of overall market size for gaming and music globally, they're very close. The long pursued holy grail on how you connect artists with fans. Twitch unlocks that upside. I botched that. They're unabashedly trying to take gaming monetization model and bring it to music. So my question to you.
A business term, total addressable market. They call it
Yeah,
TAM.
right? Oh, is that a thing you deal with in your day-to-day?
It's called TAM. They call it TAM. But
TAM.
Put the, and then
Why don't you explain what TAM is in a broader
market? Like every person that would likely buy something from you is your total addressable market.
Cool. Thanks for
Yeah,
that.
this is already boring me, guys. I'm sorry.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Dane.
And then you appreciate them onto the balance sheet when the revenue comes in.
See, this is now you're getting now you're getting some stiff jeans around here, okay?
Never mind. I'm not gonna.
Look it up. I got them red.
I don't even want to know what the hell is going on right there.
Dane, now that you're flushed, do you think there is a future for musicians on Twitch as a not just a viable way to connect artists with fans, but also a way that they can get some additional revenue, or what? Go ahead.
The 30,000 foot up question, which is, have you ever been on Twitch?
I got on Twitch last night in preparation for this. And I do have it did bring some more thoughts. Have you ever been on Twitch? You're not a Twitch guy, Chris.
I'm not a Twitch guy, although we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I was stalking Scott Klopfenstein on the internet, who is the trumpet player from Real Big Fish.
It's a very weird thing to do.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
I was watching his Twitch stream one day. That's as close as I've gotten to mine.
About do you know? Just out of curiosity, do you know about how many viewers when you hopped in there were in there, like roundabout number?
No, but when the last time I went to his page, which was at 4:45 this morning, it was like 200 and something, 280, whatever
Per like stream
per show. Yeah,
yeah.
But he does it for like 3 hours. Anyway, we can keep
Yeah,
going.
Dane, you were shaking your head no when it came to.
I've seen a couple of like music streams. You know what I mean? Like bands playing live and stuff like that. One of my label's bands did a live thing that was kind of fun.
Right. But they did it for Spin, right? It wasn't like on there.
Right, yeah.
They didn't do it on their own.
No, it was a part of another. Most of the ones I've seen have been part of other publications, like web streaming, like series, or they have been part of a label showcase or something brought to you by someone else. But not, like I don't know if this makes me old. And I know it probably does. I think anytime you start a sentence like that, it probably means you're old.
Yeah.
But I guess I just I think there's like a whole generational thing where there's a very, very large majority of people who find the internet just to be a place to seek entertainment. And I don't mean it in a as traditional of a sense. I mean it kind of in a like, how do I kill some time kind of way.
Yes.
So much of the internet is committed to the crusade of killing time, and Twitch seems like it falls into that pretty neatly. Like, I don't have anything to do, so I'm going to listen to this person kind of ramble for a little while they're playing video games and make funny noises.
I think it's dead on.
Yeah, I don't know much about Twitch though. Like, but my vibe with I have this colleague at work. He does video game stuff. He's like, you just got to try this guy. He's an awesome guitarist, and just watch him, or just watch this one guy. He does all this stuff. So I watch some of these things, and I'm like, this is just a dude talking.
Yes.
And I don't know why he thinks he's important, but he's a shredder. I'd fast forward to the videos where he's actually playing guitar. I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And then he'd talk for another 50 minutes about, I don't know, it wouldn't even be about guitar stuff. And he'd be interacting with the chat, and I'd be like, I don't really want to hear you talk to some like 13-year-old about like your pickups or about your favorite Fortnite like level or something. I don't know.
If you loved that guy, like if he was like somebody you idolized, would you be interested in listening to him talk about pickups and what he?
So, and I think this is a great question. This is obviously the crux of the article. I think that an internet person. Now, you guys might argue with me, and I hope you do, because I think I need some sense talked into me. But I just think a random person on the internet, no matter how charismatic they are, has nothing for me. Like just a dude talking, just some girl who's like, well, let me tell you about my garden. Like, I don't know, like there's no meat on that bone for me. I have way more important things to do with my life. However, music is one of those important things, and I feel like I don't know that I would sit and listen to a musician that I really like talk about dogs. But I do think I would be willing to pay a musician to play to play music. And I think that I would rather just go see them play live and overpay for a t-shirt instead of tipping them like $2 on Twitch. You know?
A Twitch bit.
Yeah. You know, and then pay Twitch too at the same time, 50% of whatever I pay them. So while I was reading this article, I just kept coming back to the same thing. It's like they're trying to create a platform to help pay artists when they could just be paying artists the entire time, like the right amount, like Spotify, YouTube, like they could be paying them. And they're also trying to come up with this online show. Like, just go to see the band play live, guys. It's like, just go drive your car to the local club and see your band. You know, like, that's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about this, but
I hope you do, because I don't get it. I don't get it, guys.
Josh, you're more of a
more internet-y than in this kind of way.
Yeah,
in this kind of way. So you spend hours watching
so
people
much goddamn time. No, Dane, I pretty much 100% agree with you.
But
Oh, this felt like you were going to say
no,
something.
yeah, I know.
okay.
So
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, but
So
yeah,
I
maybe
do
won't.
think here's what I think. I think the internet can be a lonely place. So I think so sad and lonely.
I'm sorry, Josh.
No, I think for
What he won't tell you is his
especially
family left him.
especially for kids
years
of,
ago.
especially for like kids of a certain generation or younger people, it can be kind of a lonely place. So I do think that Twitch is a place where people can find community and really feel like they have their own little spot that they can get together with their friends and hang out. I literally used to do that in World of Warcraft, where like I would kind of just log in and like maybe I'd raid a dungeon, but really I'm there just talking to my friends is really kind of what I'm doing. So I get what's actually happening there. I do not go on Twitch at all in my regular daily life because I agree with you. I have kids. I have 2 jobs. I have a podcast. I have a band. I'm way too much going on. None of that. I didn't even mention my wife in that one. But I have way too much going on. That
Just write down the time of that.
She doesn't listen. That's fine. As much as my beg and prod her to listen, she doesn't listen.
This feels like a promo, by the way, for the Instagram. This whole conversation.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
So I don't participate in
I
Twitch at
didn't
all.
mention my wife.
I don't participate in Twitch at all, but I get it. I really do. I understand it. It's just not for me. And
But hold on, I have to interrupt just for a moment while it's on my mind. Like when you go and raid a dungeon or don't in
Here we go.
Or in
Yep.
World of Warcraft,
Yep.
you're not recording yourself talking about nothing and then posting it on the internet hoping people will pay you money for that nothing that you just talked.
Yes, and some people do, and some people get paid for that. So
Yeah.
if there's an opportunity for you to do that and literally stream the dungeon that you're running and get paid for it to do that, why wouldn't you? And you're going to get 100 people listening to you, potentially tipping you or subscribing. Why wouldn't you? So like I said, I get it, but at the same time, so initially when I was reading this article, I'm like, Twitch is not for music. I think that music will always primarily be a live thing. My thesis was that you can get into a band and like their videos and like their stuff and really appreciate what they're putting out, but maybe that doesn't coincide with Twitch. And what I did is I actually went on Twitch metrics. So Chris, you're going to appreciate this. A little bit of data-driven stuff in here. So if we're literally comparing,
He's gone again. Goddamn guy's asleep.
no, you'll
Sorry.
you can't keep him awake.
Sorry.
You just really can't keep him awake. I went on and looked at the most popular music Twitch streamers. So this is Twitch stream channels that have the most average viewers.
That dude from Trivium that plays guitar all
Yeah.
day, every day.
Well, there's Trey Anastasio.
That's interesting.
He's got 34,000 average viewers. The number one is Game Music Festival, which is 40,000. Like, so if I scroll through, the first one that Slander is a big one, has 12,000. David Guetta, I forget, I don't know how to say his last name.
Cool.
9,000.
Or whatever. Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
DJ. Yeah.
And then like, the first one that I kind of noticed, it was Silverstein, had like a couple thousand, and then what's his name? Oh, here it is.
Yeah, but the dude from Silverstein, like,
so these, well,
he
so
has a podcast too, and I'm like,
so
he's
this-
a personality that's developed maybe separately from the music too.
So we're looking at like the highest being like 40,000, the lower end being like 2,000, and then just taking a walk around the park last night, I was noticing about like 1 to 200 for average music streamers, which is like okay. And then I went over to the gaming side of things, and the most popular gaming Twitch streamers, you're talking about hundreds of thousands. So like Genshin Impact Official, 244,000 average viewers. Dreams, who's like a big Minecraft person, 168,000. So I mean, you're talking about absolute dwarfing numbers.
So hold on, these people are just signing up to subscribe to watch someone play Minecraft?
You get it.
Yeah, man.
You get it.
That's absolutely happening.
You know what? I can watch 2 kids argue about Minecraft up in my living room for free.
But it's your kid.
But you're
it's
an
your
old man.
kids.
You're an old man.
But your kids are the ones that are not literally, but the kids that are your age are the ones that are on.
They're
Twitch
gonna find the Twitch
watching
streamer that
him.
they love,
Yeah.
and be like, Dad, can we tip him? And so
I just need $20. Like it's instead of I need $20 to go to an arcade or buy some bubble gum. It's
To go play the Ninja Turtles arcade game.
Get a pack of baseball cards and
it's $20 to subscribe. And those people are making insane amounts of money.
So I mean, if you're talking
if
about
it's
hundreds of thousands,
$5 a pop or whatever, and they split it 50-50, the subscribers they split 50-50, and then people are tipping on top of it. It's kind of
I mean, you're talking about dwarfing numbers when you're talking about gaming versus music. And so when I looked at those numbers and I was listening to what what's his face was saying, Matt Olson, Mitch Olson, I'm like gaming does not exist on Twitch. But then
music doesn't exist.
Music does not exist on Twitch. But then I'm like, you know what? If I were Twitch streaming and I got 200 viewers, it's not 200,000, it's 200. I'd be like, hell yeah, dude! Like hell yeah! I just have my own little community, my own teeny tiny little corner. So I don't know, Chris. What do you? I've been rambling.
It's not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
No, I think that Twitch is specific. What happened to wake up slightly earlier. I came down here and I started just randomly going through the people that were live streaming music right now at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Like those are the people that are passionate about live streaming on Twitch. Everyone had like anywhere between 5 and a couple thousand people watching their live stream, and I just happened to pop into some girl's live stream or whatever. She had the most views, but exactly like you would imagine.
Probably had some cleave out too, and you were like, "Well, what's going on here?"
I was like, "Well, hold on."
You can't, viewers, Dane's shaking his head in disapproval.
But she's literally like playing piano. She said that she was in California, so it's 3 a.m. where she's at. She's like playing piano, and then people are like saying shit, and she's just like, "Yeah, I can add that."
Yeah. There was like a writing session.
Yeah, but and then it's like, oh, Cam 55, yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's Twitch for you.
And then keep going. And so I wonder, we think about bands in a specific way. We think about musicians in a specific way, about being in a band and writing songs and doing all these things. I don't think that that's what Twitch is for. Twitch is for like interacting with a bunch of people.
Hold on. I feel like this is helping me understand Twitch a little bit better. But then I have this
live
problem.
on the podcast.
Right? Yeah. No, this is what I like talking about you guys, because I feel like I've got this old man mentality, and all you have to do is like get halfway through your sentence, enough for me to interrupt you and tell you.
And then explain that you're interrupting.
Right? But now hold on. I think in this way, doesn't it feel like people on Twitch are kind of like now beholden to their viewers and just sort of be doing like weird little magic tricks and don't you all of a sudden, it feels a little bit less like the artist creating art and you get to enjoy it, and more like the artist pandering to the audience?
I think there's an aspect of that, and especially like if you read about Twitch streamers and the burnout that they experience of being like, yo, this is my entire income and I have to do the song and dance to make sure I can pay my rent. Yes, I do think there's an aspect of that, Dane. But that's not what I would tune into. I would if it was like Dustin Kenser being like, let's talk about the new record. I would be like all in and then tipping to be like getting my question in there.
But that's not what Twitch is about, right? It would have to be Dustin Kenser shows up every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
That's correct.
Songs.
That's correct.
And at some point you're like, I don't think I can watch Dustin Kenser play a bunch of songs anymore. Like,
right on.
You know what I mean? But I mean, like, there's diminishing returns for people like us. But I was going to say, Dana, I was going to argue with your premise in that I think there are bands that do pander to their audience. It just takes a longer time for them to do so, as opposed to like, we're doing it in real time. Here we go.
I mean, I think that's
Why,
true. I just don't think, I don't know.
That's why I don't, like I do and I don't think that music can be a thing on Twitch, because gamers can hop on.
No.
Gamers can hop on every day. Hold on. Gamers can hop on every day, and that's their content. You watch me game because it's a different thing every day, right?
Yeah.
To your point, Chris, it's a different I'm streaming Fortnite. This run is different from the last run, which is different from the last run. It's going to be something different every time. Whereas like music is like, here's what I do, here's what I do, here's what I do every time. You disagree?
I do. I disagree because I think you're just thinking about it incorrectly. Like if you
Possible.
This is the only point of reference I have aside from this broad at 3:00 in the morning. Can you say?
Did you go on Twitch once and then you formulated? You can say broad. Did you go on Twitch once and come up with a big formulated theory that?
Doesn't that sound exactly like me?
God, you're the worst. Continue.
Let's be real though. Like everything I've seen on Twitch is exactly the same. So,
I'm not. Nothing's surprising. You don't need a lot of homework to get done to understand what you're looking at. But so the whole point of Twitch is, and the whole point of the internet is interacting with.
The
your
whole point
community.
of Twitch is I went on it once. I went on it once. 15 minutes.
It's interacting with your community.
Yes.
Building a community and then interacting with your community. Aside from the fact that that is the future of the internet gave everybody a platform, and now everybody's finding someone to go interact with. That's why you follow people on Instagram, and you like when they tell you about their life because it's like slightly interesting, or they walk you through something because it's slightly interesting. You're building a relationship with somebody you know nothing about. That's why people say like, "Oh, I listened to you on the podcast. I feel like I've talked to you,"
right?
Even though that's not really what's happening. So you're building a community. Twitch is for interacting with your community,
right?
And so I think from a musician standpoint, it's about you go like, "Oh, you want me to." Dustin Kenser. Oh, you want me to play Deadbolt? All right, I'll play Deadbolt, right? Like, and then you're typing to people and like, oh, the last record was a lot of fun because we did this. All right, what songs do you want me to play? I'll play this.
Yes.
It almost appeals directly to like people personalities that you think of that also play covers. If that makes
if you may be so bold.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely an arena that I don't understand of like DJs and shit where you just like get high in your basement.
I saw some people wearing like there was a dude no shirt with like a fuzzy thing on his shoulders and cat ears, and he was just bumping trap last night, and I was like, this is weird. But anyway, continue.
And I watched for 2 hours.
2 hours.
In stunned
and then
silence.
I couldn't stop watching.
I gave him $200 at the end of the night.
This is
what happened to me.
But I truly believe a band like the Throwbacks would crush on Twitch.
So,
and the reason for that being is because you could set up a half-hour stream every single Thursday, right? We would do our effectively like a practice, but then interact with people and they go play Help Me Rhonda.
Chris, so this is the turnaround that I wanted to give you. I couldn't agree with that more.
Yeah.
Like yes, it's not going to be as popular as gaming, but you can still have a community on there. That's why, like, initially my theory was gaming shouldn't be on Twitch, but then I quickly turned around on that.
Still music, or are you talking about gaming?
God bless it. Music does not belong on Twitch, but then I quickly turned around on that and said, no, everybody can have a little community there where, like, you do jam a song. Like, we had a couple streams on Facebook, and it sucked because I don't think people on Facebook got it. They're not there for that reason. Like it's nice to crack open your phone and be like, oh, there's a band streaming on Facebook, but it's not why people go to Facebook, but that is exactly why people go on Twitch.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's two questions. One, have you guys seen a lot of live streams lately of bands?
Nope.
Not as many, but yeah.
Yeah.
Bad Religion did another round of them recently, but that's about it.
I watched all those too. Yeah, but the other question I have is like how much money can you take from your community?
So here's the deal, and this is the thing that I have a hard time with. So building community, great. That sounds like a reasonable answer to all of this, right?
What an old man thing. Is it a building community?
That's great.
I also accept the premise that, like, if a musician that you really dug was kind of taking requests and talking through songs and stuff, that would be interesting. I still kind of think, like, when you said, like, there's kind of expiration date or burnout, like, I understand that too. It makes me wonder how, like, if Twitch is going to be a relevant platform in like 2 years, or something else will just sweep that's more efficient and allows people to make money off the internet comes in. But at the end of the day, like there's this quote, this Olson guy, right, from this article. He says, I fundamentally believe we need to broaden the distribution of economics and create a category of artistry as a career. That's what I love about Twitch. You don't need scale. You don't need to be on a popular playlist. You just need to be on top of a streaming services directory to survive. You don't need to be on top of a streaming services directory to survive and thrive as a music creator. I don't think any of that makes sense to me. I fundamentally believe we need to broaden the distribution of economics and create a category of artistry as a career. I totally agree. That's what I love about Twitch. Wait, I don't like basically this, and I hate to reduce it to this, but in some way, some of this is sort of like, well, I'm a pretty popular artist. I can go on a really popular street corner and make some quick money here. Like, people would recognize me. People who know me would come to that street corner and toss a 20 into my guitar case. But like asking artists to go on the street corner and stealing half of their money from them that they make is not a way of broadening the distribution of economics and creating a category of like just fucking pay artists.
Sure it is though. But you've
I mean,
he's
he's got a business to run too.
One, you've basically attacked him with monetizing other people's platforms. You're like, what? We wouldn't have this if Spotify just paid people well or whatever.
Yes.
But we've all decided collectively that music isn't worth paying for. That's what's happened.
And I know that's a different episode, right? I know that's a totally different but
you
still,
know what's funny? What's funny is like I think it's all I think it's all the same, because on Twitch I love Dustin Kentzer, one of my favorite songwriters in I'm only going to give this guy so much fucking money. You know what I mean? And so what that says to me is like, if you take a step back and you go like, listen, I'm not going to pay for your records because I get Apple Music and you'll get whatever pennies that I need. I'll sit on Twitch for a little while, but at some point I'm just going to stop giving you money because I don't have time to go sit on Twitch, right? You come around one time a year, so that's when I can go to a show. I'll buy one t-shirt. How do you make sure that a band, an artist, whoever it is, can consistently afford to feed their families? Where does it happen? It doesn't. Twitch or otherwise. What I think is interesting about Twitch is that it allows people to make a couple $100.
Right.
That's a car payment, right? Like that's groceries for the month. And so I think that does broaden the economics of distributing money to artists. I truly think it does.
You know, I think some
fucking fight me.
No, I'm not. I don't disagree with you at all. I think that seems totally reasonable. But I guess I also feel like, and I know COVID's part of this equation, right? I mean, would Twitch be where it's at if people weren't locked in their houses for a year and a half, right? With nothing to watch except for people talking in their basements about stuff.
They talk about that too, but I think yes is the answer. It just sped it up.
Yeah.
I really do believe that.
But I do think, I kind of think the traditional music model kind of was problematic in all sorts of ways, but streaming really has screwed it up. I mean, like, a band that can go on tour, like, 200 days of the year and do the thing that they really love to do, or presumably, right, is going to make a lot more money than someone busking on Twitch, right?
Without a doubt. That's why I think that's what
but
that's what I was saying.
Could you make the argument, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but could you make the argument that a online music culture degrades an in-person music culture? In other words, if people get their fill of being able to act, or like, you know, that sense of entitlement, like, play this song, monkey, do this dance now, would they even go and see a band where they get to own the stage and they get to pick their songs, right?
Like, but again, you're categorizing those as the same musicians, and they're not.
You're right. I can't help but wonder if live music.
Let's say in a world where, let's say in a world where it is the same category, Chris. To answer your question, Dane, I don't think so. I think
in a world where it's the same, 100%.
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't have to.
That it degrades it. That it degrades it. No, I disagree.
Especially for us, like if again, and I always go back to like Thrice because they're the ones that I like. Paid for Thrice Alliance just because I felt like giving them $100, right? But like I go back to them where if somehow they can execute a live stream on Twitch as well as they can execute. I'm talking about like lights, stage presence, but still somehow interacting with the fans. I don't know if I'd go see a Thrice show.
Man,
'Cause I don't have to leave my house.
I couldn't
don't
disagree.
have to leave my house.
I couldn't disagree with that more.
I
think
obviously that's the case. It's not black or white, right? Like in a group of 5 people, 2 of them are still going to go see Thrice live.
Yeah.
There's a gray area there. But I do think that if they did it as well, it would degrade it. But the thing is, they can't. It's impossible.
that's
So
why.
the live
That's why.
show
Like
is different.
ultimately, like the live experience will always will always be better than the internet experience.
100%.
Agree, but I think there's a lot of people whose lives are constructed in and around the internet that would maybe never go to a show because they believe that the internet, between YouTube and live streaming on Twitch,
And that's-
are giving them what they need and may never discover that the power of music live, and also that it's a better way to support an artist than throwing them bits.
Yeah, I agree with that. But that's why I think that Twitch has a future with music where you can have both live. If you do it well, you can have both live and the internet experience. Even if somebody incorrectly never goes to a live show.
Let me throw one more hypothetical at you that I think could be impacted. I'm just blowing smoke here. I don't really know what's true and what's not, but it's just another
That's a poor quote.
postulation, right?
I do.
All right. How do local music scenes get impacted if that person, you know what I mean, like small local scenes, which I mean have all but disappeared anyway, at least in our area, right? Like there's not like little shows and stuff, but like can local bands ever play in front of more than 20 people if people aren't just going out and finding entertainment outside of their homes instead of on their couch?
I've been saying this for years at this point.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's changed is the number, is that bands now, musicians now, artists now, they're 0 to 20 of a live show, which I think now is 0 to 100, meaning like how do you get to 100 fans to show up to a show? All takes place on the internet. All of it. You don't go to a venue and that play that venue 100 times because some booker is like willing to take a shot on you, and then 100 people start showing up to your shows anymore. Doesn't happen. All of that happens now on the internet, and so then you start touring after you've gotten 100 people to agree to come to your shows. Yep. And so,
you need to give those people who may come to a show a reason to come, a reason to leave their house, and the way you give them a reason to leave the house is to prove yourself online where they already exist.
I just want to make one last point, which is I think this is completely unsettled. And what I mean by that is like the people that are streaming 1,000 people at some girl playing piano at 3:00 in the morning.
It's like 200 people.
No, it was 1,000 people. It was 1,200 people. It was 1,200 people in the channel at the time. She's making okay money.
She's doing all right. Yeah.
She doesn't have to go anywhere. Right. She's literally sitting in her house. That is, in terms of the bell curve of people making money, right? Like, that's the beginning. We still haven't figured out how to do good live shows for bands on the internet. That has not been solved yet. And so this is literally just the beginning of all these different things. Mm-hmm. But I do genuinely think it's a really good thing. I agree too. A very good thing.
Agreed. Cool. Well, let's take that moment there, that little pause, and let's transition to our record review for the day. This one is the newest record by the band We Were Skarks. That's right, not We Are Sharks, Dane. Mm-hmm. We Were Skarks, who criticized me this week in our group chat that I got the part of that vocabulary wrong, part of that English wrong.
It's a verb. It's a verb. It's a tense. And
Great.
Verbs are kind of important to me, so I'm just saying we got to get them right.
Whole career.
Got another pull code.
It's also Josh. You get like 80% of sentences right
for sure. I get to the good enough point. Good enough.
Yeah.
No, this is We Were Skarks. New low. Chris, I think you were the one who recommended these guys for this week, right?
I think. Well, maybe.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with you. Is this record a 10 out of 10 for you, or a 10 out of 10 for you?
If anything, it's like a 9 out of 10.
Wow. So it's like
It's pretty close.
Is it great or super great for you? That's my question.
I would call it great. I would
Yeah.
just call it great
Wow.
in general. Yeah.
Look at Dane's face.
I'm a little nervous about what I'm going to say now.
I almost wanted Dane to go first, but this is
Compliment
this is,
sandwich.
We're gonna compliment sandwich the shit out of this.
This is grade A, like mainline sugar to me. That's what this is. Like,
I know.
It doesn't have.
that. I
It
knew
doesn't.
that.
It's
I
one of
just
those
like
things.
looking down at your camera. You're like,
Grade A.
You smell that, boys? You smell that, boys?
It's candy. There's like, this is a perfect like album to me in the way that you're like, I don't have to know anything that's going on. I don't have to care about anything that's going on. It's just every once in a while, not every once in a while, there's just like blast off of hooks and like this, that, and the other thing. I really do. There's some actually like really interesting decisions and stuff like that they made as a band, but this is the thing I always talk about. You're either first in line or you're best in line, and like these guys in terms of pop punk, like sugar coated pop punk, they're towards the best in line. Like I'd put them with All Time Low or Fall Out Boy, where like they're doing what they do really, really fucking well. From that perspective, I think my favorite song is Over This. I think
I feel like you're just. Never mind. Keep going.
Just
I
got punched in the stomach, I think.
I saw what Dane was going to say, and I thought, I'll just do the exact opposite.
Yeah, just go. Keep going.
I want to retitle this episode the one where Dane turns red.
That's all I have to really say about it. I didn't research anything about this band. I don't know where they are. I don't know where they're from.
Ottawa,
Canada.
Canada. Ottawa, Canada.
Fair enough. Which almost makes it better because like I don't need to. I
Sure.
have no desire to be like I need to know more about this band. They gave me exactly what I wanted, and I'm like, and I will listen to this record over and over again. Favorite song is Over This. That's what I would say. Is,
Nice. What did you think about the way that they pushed kind of pop punk a little bit, where it's like more like they definitely had some real pop punk tracks, but they also had some just pop tracks.
Yeah,
What did that do for you?
Yeah, everything. I think Over This is one of those examples of like, it's less punky and more poppy than anything else.
Because I know you're a big like pop guys, so that's why.
It gets me. I don't know what it is about it. It gets me.
That's why I knew you'd love this record.
The reason I give this a 9 out of 10 is they just have not landed their guitar tone. That's like a plug-in guitar tone from GarageBand, and it works. It works for what they're doing, but like it's not defined well in any way. I don't think they really nailed that portion of it. But
Interesting choice.
1 point off.
All right, well there you go. Dane,
Let's go, Dane.
let's compliment sandwich the shit out of this.
So-
What'd you think? Where were we at?
There are some songs and parts of songs that I really liked. I mean, they had,
What a Midwestern.
like, I don't know, like.
trying.
He's trying. Dane's trying.
Well, I guess the reason why I say that is like the first two songs, I was like all in. I was like, okay, this is good. It reminds me of like the old Loved Ones, or it reminds me of like a good gritty band.
I heard Dave House a little bit
Right?
going on there. Yeah, 100%.
At first.
Yeah.
Because I feel like every chorus is a Capri Sun commercial. Or you could
Capri
take...
Sun commercial.
Yeah,
When's the last
or-
time you
like
even
it's
saw
just
a
sugar.
Capri Sun commercial?
No, I
Jeez.
don't mean that metaphorically. I mean, they could have taken that part
Yeah.
of the song and just use it as the backtrack for a Kool-Aid ad or something. You know what I mean? Or like, and I feel like each verse, and I don't mean this in every song, but I would say like most of the songs, like 7 out of 10 of them, the verses are pretty good. Whether they're slower songs or faster songs, like Ashley Part 2 was a faster song, and that one was kind of a jam, right? I kind of liked the feel of that one. Shameless is a song that I really liked until the chorus, which had all of the like, this is our anthem, y'all's got to feel me kind of vibe to it.
By the way, are you referencing Good Charlotte? Because like
Yeah.
I felt that big time.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this is like to the point where if you look in my Apple Music history, Good Charlotte popped up for an instant because I just had to be like, what is this reminding me of?
yeah, it
like
was Good
what is
Charlotte
this?
big time.
And it's not like I know more than 2 songs by Good Charlotte, but it hit both of them for me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The thing about this is though, it's like I kind of liked it until the chorus, and then this band knew is like, all right, we've got to get into a Capri Sun commercial, or we
Boys.
know that this
Gotta get that Capri Sun money.
right that sweet Capri Sun money.
Sticky Capri Sun.
I feel like they get to a point where like
Is there gonna be juice at this party?
sorry, we just watched that episode.
It's gonna be off of the hook.
You're pulling the ripcord, Joe.
Anyway, to get back on track, I really do feel like these guys are really intentional about writing the hookiest chorus that could fit neatly into a like 90 or a 30-second TikTok or something. I mean, and that it was in that way really formulaic. Like it kind of started getting really irritating after a while because we'd have these songs that would feel just kind of like, I don't know, catchy punk songs, and then they'd rip it into like a song where if you removed that chorus, just the vocal part of the chorus, and put like, I don't know, like had Travis Barker playing drums behind it and added some sort of like synthy beat to it, it would just straight up be like a Maroon 5 song. Yeah. And that's just too much for me. I know that is Chris's bread and butter, but for me it just sort of felt like it lost a little bit of, you know, some kind of authenticity or honesty or something. I thought Over This, like to me, was just the shittiest song. It was just so bad. It was.
It's definitely a Maroon 5 song.
Oh
it's
God,
like
I hated it. It was like I was going through the songs, and then I get to Over This, and I'm like, we just switched radio stations completely.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when I did enough research about the band, I realized that was the single, and I'm like, oh, I see what they did there. They pulled an Offspring.
Yes.
And they decided to write the single in there. I also really didn't like the lyrics. We talked a little bit about like young audiences and trying to appeal to them in one of our other reviews. And I thought this was I think it was the Rise Against one, right? We were talking about, and I thought this one did a way worse job, or a way more flagrant job at that. In that, like all of these songs are, you know, just so like 13-year-old girls know that somebody understands them, you know? I listened to Over This. I mean, that is, Over This is like, the lyrics of that are the perfect lyrics for an angry 16-year-old who just broke up with her boyfriend. Like, it's perfect to capture that. Yeah.
He's a 13-year-old girl.
So ultimately, there's nothing for me here. I mean, and I think the last little thing I'll hit on, because I'm kind of ranting and raving now, I apologize, but it's like,
calm down.
I feel like if this album were recorded like just with a little less polish, with a little bit fewer flanger effects on certain parts of songs, or like a fewer like big bass hits and certain like build-ups and stuff, it would have felt a little bit more fun. And instead it just sort of feels like a bunch of strangers wrote a great pop album, and I don't think that is. Like, I think these dudes are friends and have been in a band for 10 years, and you know, to me, though, it just feels like a formulated pop hit. One more thing I felt like compelled to notice. A lot of these songs hit that sweet spot in like the 2.5 to 3 minute mark, as if they were very intentional about how long they knew these songs needed to be to get on the radio or something. So it's just, everything about it just felt very, I don't know, like formulaic, over-polished. Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, I think in 2021, you have to, if you recognize the algorithm and you game it a little bit in your record, you know, there's going to be folks who recognize that you're gaming it and really don't like the feeling that comes along with that. Dane's raising his hand. And then there's going to be folks who don't give a shit. And they're just like, okay, well, you're giving me there's Chris. See what I'm doing there, folks?
Yeah. Thanks for bridging the gap there.
And I think I land definitely in the middle there, where like some tracks I did not give a shit. Like, I really liked Bring Me Down. I really liked New Low. Where I'm like I don't give a shit. I'm enjoying this song for what it is. But then like that like midpoint of the record where it was just like it like hit the brakes, but like I recognize that it's like this could be on any pop radio. You would never know that this is a pop punk band.
Capri Sun ads.
This is a Capri Sun band.
It's We Were Skarks. Capri Sun band. No, I'm kidding. Where like, yeah, it's like, whoa, this is a turn.
and that much of it is not for me. Like the first half of the record really felt like, oh, this is like a really super polished pop punk record, and then you see them taking those swings, and it's like, this is not for me. But then like the last track, Ready to Go, like I really like that song. So yeah, I think I land somewhere definitely squarely in between the two of you. Like I said, in an age where it's like TikTok is the way that people get recognized now. If you write a song or two in your record that has a potential there, I can't fault you, and not to mention like this, they've had previous records and this one is getting a lot of traction, and maybe some of that is by design, and like, okay, I don't really necessarily fault them for that.
Yeah. And just to be clear, like I'm just guessing, I'm just being cynical and guessing that these are for social media reasons or something, or marketing reasons. And maybe that's not the case. But if you watch the video for Problems, Apple Music has the music videos always below it, and I always like to watch those. Like he looks like he's he's doing all the rap moves, like I'm like, what is this? But then if you watch the video for like, Shameless is a Good Charlotte video, but then like, New Low.
I mean, it's a Good Charlotte song. Like
New Low, which is one of the ones I really like. That looks like a it could be any pop punk band that I like video. Yeah. So I'm like, there's like a pick a lane, boys. No, I don't know. So I land somewhere in the middle for these guys. So what's it?
This is just a record where like you can't put on past 6 o'clock, otherwise you're gonna have a tough time going to sleep. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Yes.
It's got a little too much caffeine in it. You know what I'm saying?
It's too much sugar.
Yeah.
Too much sugar.
He just gets awful when you give him that much sugar.
Chris, for 2021, where is this one going to sit with you? Are you going to be playing it again a bunch?
I will definitely play it again.
I know.
It won't be like, it won't find its way into my favorite records of all time. Like I legitimately didn't look at any of the lyrics. Like I didn't need to. This album's not about listening to the from that perspective. But
I agree with that.
I'll absolutely listen to it again without a doubt. But it's not like, it definitely won't be in my top 10 records of this year, I don't think, considering all the music that came out. But like, it's good. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah. I'm surprised that you said it's not going to be in your top 10 of this year. I would have thought it would have like definitely been in your top 10 for this year.
Like if you compare this against a band like Free Throw, where like they're just in leagues of their own, right? And like if I want to listen to good music, it's not that that's fair to call this not good music, but like something that hits a little bit harder, I'll listen to Free Throw, and the summer's over with. Like, so this album's probably going to find its way off of my rotation. But
I had the thought that maybe at the end of this year we'll do a best of rock and roll brunch. Like we literally do like what our records of the year. Dane, you hated this record, so
I mean, let's not say I hate it.
No, I'm kidding. Where does this one sit for you? I mean, are you gonna?
I'm not gonna listen to it again. It's already out of my library.
Wow.
But,
you're gonna Jim Hankey this one.
Yeah.
You're gonna Jim Hankey.
But I will say that like, there are redeeming tracks. There are catchy songs. Like there are parts of songs that I really liked, but I mean, at the end of the day, like I just don't think this one was for me. I think that I don't think anyone should feel bad that like a bald white dude who's like approaching 40 isn't clicking with We Were Sharks. You know what
Racing
I mean?
Towards 40.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Although I do feel good that like if one of my 14-year-old students walks up to me and says, "Have you ever heard of We Are Sharks?" I'll be like, "Yeah."
You mean We Were Sharks? Got him.
Nailed it.
Comes
Got
full
him.
circle, doesn't
Full
it?
circle.
Got him.
Full
Look at
circle.
that. So easy.
Also,
Got him.
let's write that band name in the present tense. It just feels right, doesn't it? Like, let's not write in the past tense. Let's keep going. Sorry. Josh, what do you think?
That's actually been your problem with this band to begin with, isn't it?
It all comes down
You
to
lost
verbs.
me at the name.
I'm living
You
the
lost
verb
me
life.
at the verb.
Present participle. What is that?
Honestly, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for me, like I said, I land somewhere in the middle. I'm definitely going to spin it again a couple times to try to get it more in my brain. There's enough pop punk in there for me to really enjoy it. And Chris, like you said, I think if you're not first, you got to be best. I do think there is some best pop punk going on in here, and that's really redeeming for me. So yeah, it'll stay in my library for a while, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, look at that face. That's the face only a mother could love.
right.
Chris, there you go. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up. Dane, where can people find what you're up to? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to talk about?
Nah, just Jetsam Flotsam at banditcamp.com.
Don't hurt yourself.
That's it. Yeah.
He's all hopped up on sugar.
He's all hopped up on Capri Suns.
Cool. Chris, anything you want to talk about? Where can people find what you're up to?
The Throwback Chicago.com
Cool.
for all your latest oldies needs. And
We'll be on Twitch.
We'll be on Twitch. The Throwback Chicago.
We'll be on Twitch. Catch me outside on Twitch.
Catch me outside.
Right on. Yep. And then for me, it's Rock and Roll Brunch. You can email us any questions, comments, concerns, rockandrollbrunch@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, and we may be joining Twitter because I don't know. Twitter could be a thing, right? We're also on YouTube, where you can find this episode and so much more. With that, ladies and gentlemen, episode 14 is a wrap. And if we could just get that check